legislation of this state of emergency will be replaced with the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill today. The sitting is scheduled to commence for 10 a.m. However, I do suspect that we're having a late start. However, the sitting of the Senate also is scheduled for later this week. That is Thursday, October 1st, 2020 at 10 a.m. Now, in keeping with the protocols established by the authorities for management of the coronavirus COVID-19 crisis, and with a view to ensuring that these protocols are adhered to, a limited number of persons will be allowed in the chamber gallery during today's sittings and also the Senate sitting. Masks will be mandatory. Kindly note that the public can also view the live proceedings on the National Television Network, Channel 122. You can also follow today's proceedings from the Government of St. Lucia Facebook page and the YouTube channel. So please take note of what is transpiring today. 5 ministers of government, papers to be laid by 5 ministers of government. Also, we have 3 motions down for consideration, and I'd just like to get into the motions at this juncture. Be it resolved, we have the motion being forwarded by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service. Be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister of Finance to borrow an amount of US $3,750,000 from the CARICOM Development Fund for the purpose of providing financial assistance to support the implementation of the Village Tourism Initiative by enhancing specified infrastructure and supporting eligible small and medium-sized enterprises. Be it further resolved that interest is repayable at a rate of 3% per annum on the amount of the loan withdrawn and outstanding from the loan account, and the loan is repayable in 48 equal or approximately equal and consecutive quarterly installments on each date of the 30th day of March, the same of June and September, and the 30th day of December, commencing on the first due date after the expiry of 2 years following the date of the disbursement of the loan, or on a later due date as specified in writing by the CARICOM Development Fund. Be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow an additional sum of US $5 million by way of credit from the International Development Association for capital expenditure for the Health System Strengthening Project. Be it resolved that the maximum commitment charge rate payable on the unwithdrawn financing balance is 1/2% per annum. A service charge is payable on the withdrawn credit balance that is equal to the rate of the sum of 3/4% per annum plus the basic adjustment of the service charge, 3/4% per annum. And the loan is repayable. This loan is repayable in 40 years from the date of first disbursement of the loan, inclusive of a 10 years grace period. The principal amount of the loan is repayable on each first day of June and first day of December of each year at a rate of 1%, commencing on the first day of December 2032 and including the first day of June 2040. 2% commencing on the first day of December 2042 and including the first day of June 2060. And finally, be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to guarantee a loan in the amount of euro $5,750,000 from the European Investment Bank by the St. Lucia Development Bank for on-lending to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Be it further resolved that the commitment fee is 25 basis points per annum charged on the unwithdrawn funds as of 6 months after the signature date. The loan is repayable over a period of 12 years from the date of the first disbursement of the loan, inclusive of a 4 years grace period. The rate of interest is determined by the St. Lucia Development Bank, and the European Investment Bank is payable on the outstanding balance of each fixed rate tranche at the fixed rate quarterly, semi-annually, or annually in arrear of the relevant payment dates specified in the disbursement notice, commencing on the first such payment date following the disbursement date of the tranche, and floating rate tranche at the floating rate quarterly or semi-annually in arrear on the payment date specified in the disbursement notice, commencing on the first payment date following the disbursement date of the tranche. The loan repayments commence after the grace period of 4 years has expired. There are also 3 bills to be laid in the Honorable House in this sitting by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service. We have the first reading of the Credit Reporting Bill, the first reading of the Companies and Intellectual Property Registry Amendment Bill, and the first reading of the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill, which I indicated earlier that earlier this week we had the publishing of the proclamation for revocation of declaration of state of emergency. It was published in an extraordinary St. Lucia Government Gazette, and the associated legislation is hoped by the government of St. Lucia to be replaced with the COVID-19 prevention and control. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. We are on standby for the commencement of today's House of Assembly convening. We do have in the Honorable House, I can see at this point, the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Alan Chastanet. We have the Parliament Representative for Castries Southeast, Honorable Guy Joseph. I also see Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, the member for Babonneau. I believe I also saw Honorable Dominic Fede, the member for Ancillary Canneries as well. So individuals are starting to come in for the start of today's proceedings, the start of today's House of Assembly proceedings. We'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining the GIS this morning for yet another important convening of the Parliament of St. Lucia. We have 5 ministers of government, papers to be laid by 5 ministers of government, 3 motions down for consideration, and 3 bills to be tabled. The first reading of these 3 bills to be tabled in the Honorable House today. We invite you to stay tuned for the duration of today's proceedings. That is the House of Assembly due to start shortly, so do stay tuned for that. We are on standby.